In a rapidly escalating global trade environment, Canada finds itself balancing patience, resilience, and strategy as tensions with the United States intensify under President Donald Trump's aggressive tariff regime, while simultaneous pressures mount from China and shifting dynamics in Europe. Prime Minister Mark Carney, steering the country through these turbulent waters, has opted for a calculated approach that mixes diplomacy, diversification, and strategic leverage rather than blunt retaliation, evident in his recent decision to scale back certain countermeasures on American goods to ease costs for Canadian consumers and manufacturers while signaling respect for the Canada-US-Mexico agreement, a deliberate gesture aimed at preserving tariff-free trade for nearly 90% of Canadian exports, even as Washington keeps up to 50% duties on metals like steel, aluminum, and copper. This nuanced approach, which combines relief with selective resistance, keeps leverage intact and demonstrates that Ottawa is pacing the talks rather than reacting impulsively. And as Carney works to shield industries at home, he has also turned his attention abroad, crossing the Atlantic to court allies in Germany, Poland, and Latvia, pitching Canada as a stable, reliable supplier of energy and critical minerals, just as European leaders seek to diversify supply chains and reduce dependence on American unpredictability, a move strengthened by Canada's active defense contributions under Operation Reassurance in Eastern Europe. At home, Ontario Premier Doug Ford has reinforced this resilient strategy with a $1 billion emergency loan program to keep steel, aluminum, and automotive businesses afloat, providing critical lifelines to safeguard jobs and facilities as industries brace for ongoing tariff uncertainty. Meanwhile, U.S. consumers and small businesses are beginning to feel the pinch of these policies, with many retailers shutting down, and economists estimating that American households could bear an additional $2,200 to $3,800 annually due to the growing trade wars. Yet the U.S. administration shows no signs of easing pressure, recently targeting pharmaceuticals with a phased tariff plan that could soar to 250%, a move that risks disrupting supply chains, raising drug costs, and straining healthcare systems on both sides of the border, particularly in Canada, where prices may rise sharply as manufacturers adjust to U.S. pricing demands. The volatility extends to global commodities, with Washington's sudden 39% tariff on imported gold bars from Switzerland, sending shockwaves through global markets and serving as a stark warning to Ottawa that no sector, not even those traditionally considered secure under existing trade agreements, is safe from abrupt policy shifts. Compounding these challenges, Canada has also been hit by a retaliatory blow from Beijing, which imposed a punishing 75.8% tariff on Canadian canola in response to Ottawa's earlier levies on Chinese goods, a move that threatens $5 billion in annual exports and delivers devastating financial losses to prairie farmers, forcing Ottawa to explore alternative markets in Asia and the Middle East while maintaining fragile diplomatic lines to prevent the dispute from spreading. Yet through it all, Carney's government has maintained a steady course, reinforcing relationships within North America, leveraging Canada's critical role in integrated supply chains, and accelerating trade diversification through agreements with the European Union, Asia, and the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, ensuring the country is not cornered by any single partner. This broader, quieter strategy contrasts sharply with Trump's confrontational, headline-driven tactics that rely on surprise and urgency to extract concessions. And while it may lack immediate drama, Canada's measured approach is building a more durable foundation for long-term economic stability and autonomy, turning what could have been a reactive crisis into an opportunity to strengthen its global standing, protect its industries, and chart a path less dependent on the volatility of American politics, even as the months ahead promise more tests of endurance in a world where trade is now as much a tool of geopolitical pressure as it is of economic policy.